right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Up and Down matches here at the Global Starcraft 2 League. For those of you that are just joining us, for those of you that are not familiar with what the Up and Down matches are, very quickly I will tell you. If you guys are maybe watching this with your friends, you're like, hey, you know what, Up and Down matches are cool. There's a thing called Starcraft. You should check it out. Basically, we have the Code S tournament and we have the Code A tournament. And the Code S tournament is the big league, basically.
Got a lot of money. Got the best players in the world. Exactly,
the best players in the world. The Code A tournament is a tournament in itself, but it's also a qualification for the Code S tournament. And if you get into the top of the Code A tournament, or if you're in the bottom of the Code S tournament, the little space in between, those players have to battle it out to see who actually goes up to the main tournament and who goes down to Code A, which is the lesser tournament. So that's what these matches are today. Yeah. 5 players battling it out in a group, playing round-robin style. Every player is going to play every other player in the group. And whoever comes out on top, the 2 players with the best score at the end of the day are going to be actually going up to Code S. And, I mean, yeah, it is actually, you're talking about, you know, best players. It's also actually just a money thing. If you are in the round of 32, the lowest part of Code S, you actually make the same amount from that as being the winner of Code A. So really, from a career standpoint, being in Code S is where you want to be.
Of course, yeah. And basically the top 8 players of Code A come to the Up and Down matches, and the last place player of each group makes it to, or goes to the Up and Down matches. They don't make it anywhere. They fall down into the abyss that is the Up and Down matches, where everyone fights. It's like the Gladiators arena. Only one will survive. Well, actually, 2 will survive.
2 will survive. 5 men enter. 2 men leave.
Exactly. There are 3 groups of this.
Yep. Right now, Genius is at 1-1. Thinking about the situation. Puzzle is 1-0. Sage is 0-1. Zenio is 0-1. And Gumio is 1-0. So the night is still young, but here is Zenio versus Puzzle.
An important match for Zenio, man.
Yeah, if he loses this match, he's at 0-2, and that is almost impossible to come back from in the Up and Down matches. So very, very important here. Puzzle has a chance to bring himself into a good lead, though. We're going to find out who will win in just a moment here at the GSL. All right, down here in the bottom left is our Zerg player. He has a whopping 35% win rate against Protoss. I think Puzzle's definitely the favorite in this match. But
who's that?
Who knows?
Who's that favorite?
Oh, this guy would be the favorite. Recently beat Lenok in the GSTL. Although he also lost to Line at WCG. Although Line's pretty good.
Line is really good. I've always been impressed with Line. Line actually played back under the ID Next Line before his Next formed back in the open seasons of the GSL, and he's been around a while. I've always really respected him. I hung around with the Next clan for quite some time, so he's a pretty cool guy.
I was just looking at Puzzle's records here, and I was going to point out, and I think I had a little bit of deja vu, because I think I said this last season too, that Puzzle, his win rate against Zerg is actually pretty good, but he wins against players that aren't like the top caliber. He doesn't actually win against players like, you know, Lucira or, you know, Curious. He did beat, you know, Lenok, but occasionally you do take games like that. Anyway, so point being, even though I think Puzzle statistically is favored here, I think anything can happen. Zenio is kind of like Hongen, like we were talking about earlier. He's also one of those players that, even though he's not favored, sometimes he just wins. Sometimes he'll have a moment of brilliance and he'll beat a really good player.
What happens with Zenio a lot in this matchup is, like I was saying, the rivalry that doesn't really exist between Zenio and Hongen, is that Zenio will just sometimes hold things that it doesn't look like anyone could hold. He'll just be like, no, I held it, and then he'll win games that way. And then at other times, he'll just out-macro people. But there's this time period between like the mid-game and the end-game where he tends to lose games, I feel. And I don't know, we'll see what happens in this game. We don't know what we're going to see from Puzzle, but he has gone for a Nexus first. His cannon is on the way now. Even though his opponent went for a faster pool, it's not going to matter. The cannon's going to finish just in time here for the Zergling to come and see it and move away. Actually didn't even see it, but he knows it's there.
Didn't even check it out. Didn't want to take a hit to find out what was going on. And Cybernetics Core going down as well.
Completely walling off that cannon. Cannot be attacked by melee units. Really nice wall off by Puzzle.
Probably going to have to build that out a little bit more, maybe make another cannon farther out in the mineral line so he can't be harassed around the edges of the
Interestingly, Puzzle's only taken 1 gas.
Ooh. Oh, look at this, though.
And a Roachborn
Zenio
going
for Roachborn.
Oh!
Is he going to see it? No. That probe does not see the Roachborn. Also, did find out that there was no second gas taken, so probably not Banelings in that sense, but didn't see the Roachborn, though.
That's very unfortunate.
And it looks like he's just going to go for a bust, actually. He's not mining too much gas, so he's just going to make like a round and a half of roaches, maybe 6 roaches, and then follow up with speedlings, I think, and go for a little bit of a bust.
Now, one thing he was able to see was that the hatchery was a little bit later than normal, which indicates that the drones were not pulled from gas. So
is he responding to that, though?
He did make an extra cannon. He has made sentries back at home. He's made 1 sentry. He's making a second one now. His cannons are in a really good spot. He may want to make 1 more cannon. This is not going to be easy to hold. The forge, the forge is kind of going to be exposed a little bit, but only if Zenio micros perfectly. And in this case, I don't think he'll be able to do that. He's going to want to get that forge, but it's going to be very difficult to do so. The core, though, may be hit as well if he micros, so we'll see.
Or he could go around the side and get the probes even.
Yeah, that's going to be the place where he needs to make an extra cannon. And in fact, he's making another pylon right there. And it looks like he's going to go right for the probes, as you said. By the looks of it, actually, I think he can hit that core and the Nexus.
Can hit the Nexus
without being hit by the cannons. And that's actually going to be so hard for Puzzle to defend.
Is he going to get those sentries? Speedlings coming in here as well. They're going to force the sentries back into a corner. A little bit of missed micro. The Roaches taking some fire they didn't need to, and the Zerglings really taking a lot of fire they didn't need to.
Yeah, that probe actually blocked the Zerglings from attacking the sentries. Making another pylon here so we can start inching cannons closer to the Roaches. Stalker gets caught here, but he is surrounded in such a way the Zerglings can't really hit him. Nice micro by Puzzle. I think he's going to hold.
Puzzle. Wow, Puzzle.
Cannon gets made here. He's probably going to have to cancel it. The Stalker's in a place, though, where he can do damage to these Roaches.
Oh, the Nexus is so close to dying, but there's only 3 Roaches left. He's targeting down the Nexus, trying to kill it off at all costs.
Beautiful
down to 150
force
health.
field. The Roaches are getting low, and it looks like Zenio is going to have to go home. He brings a ton more Zerglings, but will it matter? Nice block with the pylon by Puzzle. 2 Stalkers out now. The probes are blocking the Nexus, and that is it. He's done it. He has held this attack.
Wow. There's no way the Zerglings can get in there to finish off the Nexus, and
Zerglings being wasted here on Stalkers. The cannon's just taking out everything, and that is going to be game, man. That is GG. 42 probes to 17 drones.
If I was Zenio,
you would not have made
I wouldn't have done that.
more Zerglings
I
like
wouldn't
he
have
just
done that
did.
actually, but I think he should have just left right then when that failed, because he's got he should know he's in a really bad position right now.
He made 12 more Zerglings, and now they're just going to sit at his natural and hang out and talk about. They're going to say, well, what's the meaning of life? You know, I'm here, but now I'm just sitting here.
Yeah, well,
I could have been a drone.
Yeah, he actually shouldn't have made any Zerglings, to be honest, because he didn't use any of them in that whole battle to any effect.
Yeah, he actually killed almost a sentry and almost a stalker with his Zerglings.
He kept running his Zerglings into a little choke point and just having them get killed by cannons.
Now, what a Puzzle is going to do to follow this up is actually going to follow up with a 7-gate timing attack, and this is actually a beautiful choice.
Yeah,
because now Zenio has to drone up to catch up, and if Puzzle just doesn't attack and he doesn't drone up, then he's going to be ahead anyways. But if he does drone up, then he's going to die. It's a lose-lose situation.
Even if he doesn't make any more drones, there's no way Zenio can catch up, can have the same production that Puzzle will.
Yeah, no way.
So yeah, a couple rounds of units with all those gateways, and Puzzle's just going to roll him over. Zenio is desperately trying to drone up, but like you know, he just has those Zerglings in the front, and that's all he has. And that's just not going to be enough.
Well, +1 is finishing here for Puzzle. He may start +2 immediately because he does have that Twilight Council up. He's researching Blink right now. The Zerglings that were made by Zenio, he's trying to use them, but the only effect these Zerglings have had so far is just run forward, a few of them die, then they run away, and Puzzle's not really phased by them. Of course, it makes him a little bit more reluctant to move out, but with
Exactly.
5 cannons as natural. He doesn't even care. GG.
Zenio finally GG'd.
I mean, he had 5 cannons as natural. I don't even know why he hadn't moved out. If he did, he would have just killed as early as tried to do a counterattack. 5 cannons were waiting, and they're all perfectly sim-citied. No way, man.
Yeah.
There was no way.
And Puzzle takes another game. He is now 2-0. Zenio is now 0-2. And almost guaranteed loss in the up and down matches for Zenio. And Puzzle is basically 1 win away from securing his spot in third S.
You know, Zenio, man, he really is the Hongen of Zerg, I think. He really is. I just can't get away from that. Like, he made a proxy hatchery at the third base of Gumiho and tried to attack with roaches there. Then he tried to make roaches in that game and end the game early.
Yep.
And he, tried to use speedlings to kill almost a sentry, and it didn't work.
Sometimes he goes abroad and beats foreigners in other tournaments, just like Hongen.
Yeah.
Hongen had a pretty good run in
Hongen had a really
in
good
MLG,
run. Yeah,
actually,
I was
to be
impressed
honest.
by him. I actually have always liked Hongen, kind of. I mean, he is a Sith Lord, after all.
What?
You haven't seen pictures of Hongen where he was on the Team League bench and he had his new Prime hoodie up? And it was up like this. You could barely see his face. It was all dark. I was with Doa and I was like, Doa, I think I've come to realize a terrible truth. And he's like, what? And I think Hongen is a Sith Lord. He's like, how can you be sure?
He's not very good at it.
I explained it to him, man. He is a Sith Lord. He knows the ways of the Force. He knows the ways of the dark side.
Why doesn't he, like, when the probe comes into his base to scout, when the drone comes into his base to scout, why doesn't he just tell it, this is not the base you're looking for, and make it go to another spawn location then?
Oh, that's what Obi-Wan does, man. Sith Lords don't do that. They choke him. Hongen didn't want to choke that drone, though. He didn't want to choke that drone. That drone was just... He just wanted to threaten that drone. He said, if you come here again, I'll choke you. Hongen's actually a nice guy. He's the nicest Sith Lord there is.
The nicest Sith Lord.
Yeah.
That's saying a lot. So the next game is going to be... I just tried to bring it up and I accidentally clicked something wrong, so I'm going to have to go back and find out what the next game is in just a moment. Oh, wait, there they are on my screen. My bad. I am Moltrap, a.k.a. Captain Oblivious. Gumiho versus Sage is going to be our next match.
For some reason, I'm unable to join the game. I'm going to log out and log back in here.
So yes, Belshire Beach is going to be the map for this game. Gumiho on the left, Sage is on the right. Now, Sage, this is kind of a must-win situation for Sage because as I was talking about before, he's not that good at PvP. He's down 1 game already anyway, and he's got another Protoss to play, which he is statistically likely to lose. So versus Terran, Sage is actually a lot better versus Terrans. So he's kind of got to win this game, to get his games in where he's got the advantage. Versus Terran is his best matchup. So, in a sense, this is kind of like his best chance to get a win.
Yeah, I would agree.
He's got to take this. If he doesn't take this, he has a not a very good chance with the rest of his games. So it's going to be really difficult for him to make it out.
Well, our map is Belshire Beach. It's loaded. These guys are loaded. They're ready to go. Gumiho, the Towel Terran versus Sage. One of our Toast's favorites. Let's see who can take this out here at the GSL Up and Down matches.